Lana Harper's flashlight flickered, casting erratic shadows on the decrepit walls of Ashcroft Manor. The mansion loomed before her, an imposing silhouette against the foggy New England night. Its once grand facade was now a tangled mess of ivy and rot, windows boarded and stained with grime. She hesitated at the entrance, the air thick with the scent of mildew and decay. Lana's friends, a mix of skeptical and eager, clustered behind her, their breaths visible in the cold night air. "Are we really doing this?" Brian, the group's resident skeptic, asked. He was fiddling with his camera, trying to get a clear shot of the mansion's gaping doorway. "This place looks like it's about to fall apart." "Come on, Brian. It's just an old house. We've come this far," Lana said, her voice steady despite the unease bubbling in her chest. Her fingers brushed against the symbols etched into the rotting wood of the doorframe. She'd read about these symbols, part of the mansion's dark legend, but seeing them in person was different. The group exchanged uncertain glances. Lana's best friend, Maya, with her adventurous spirit and endless curiosity, grinned in the face of the ominous structure. "I've always wanted to see if there was anything to the ghost stories. Let's just get this over with." With a collective breath, they pushed through the door, which creaked open with a groan that echoed through the empty halls. The darkness inside seemed to swallow their flashlights, and the air was stagnant, heavy with the weight of forgotten years. As they stepped into the foyer, the temperature dropped sharply, and the sense of being watched was palpable. "Look at this place," Maya whispered, her voice echoing unnervingly. "It's like something out of a horror movie." Lana nodded, trying to focus on their task. "We need to stick together. Let's split up and check different parts of the mansion. We'll meet back here in an hour." The group dispersed into the labyrinthine corridors of the mansion. Each step they took seemed to amplify the silence, making the occasional creak or rustle feel unnervingly loud. Lana moved through rooms filled with dusty furniture draped in white sheets, her flashlight revealing glimpses of ornate chandeliers and broken mirrors. The mansion seemed endless, and the further she went, the more she felt an oppressive weight on her chest. Time slipped away unnoticed. Lana's watch seemed to be running slower, but she dismissed it as an effect of the mansion's unsettling atmosphere. She stopped in a grand library, its shelves lined with decaying books. As she perused the dusty tomes, she came across a journal bound in cracked leather. The pages were filled with frantic scribbles and strange symbols, symbols she had seen before, etched into the doorframe. Her heart raced as she read a passage. "The keeper grows restless. Time is but a thread, and those who enter are but tangled in its weave." A chill ran down her spine. The journal was dated a century ago, its final entries describing bizarre occurrences and people vanishing without a trace. Lana's flashlight flickered again, casting erratic shadows across the room. The light fell upon a strange object on a nearby desk, an old-fashioned recording device. With trembling hands, Lana pressed play. The recording was garbled at first, but a voice soon emerged, distorted and urgent. "They're coming for you. Time slips away and you're trapped. Do not let them take you." The message cut off abruptly, leaving Lana with a growing sense of dread. She hurried to find her friends, her flashlight illuminating nothing but shadows. The mansion seemed to shift around her. Hallways led to rooms she had not seen before, and doors appeared where none had been. Hours passed, though Lana could not tell how many. She stumbled upon a room filled with eerie symbols painted on the walls, each more grotesque than the last. A large, ornate clock in the center of the room seemed to be ticking backward. As she examined the symbols, the realization hit her. These were the same symbols from the journal, and they formed a pattern that seemed to pulse with a dark energy. "Lana, where are you?" Maya's voice echoed through the mansion, filled with panic. Lana followed the sound, finding her friends huddled together in a dusty parlor, their faces pale and eyes wide with fear. "We need to get out of here," Lana said, trying to calm them. "But something's wrong. I don't know how long we've been here." Brian checked his watch, his face going ashen. "We've lost an entire day. It's the same date, but 24 hours have vanished." As they scrambled to find an exit, the mansion seemed to come alive with a sinister presence. The walls groaned, and shadows seemed to writhe and twist. The sense of time slipping away became overwhelming, and they were constantly disoriented. The mansion's oppressive silence was broken only by the occasional unsettling whisper that seemed to come from nowhere. Desperate, they followed clues left by the mysterious recordings and journal entries. They discovered a hidden room behind a bookcase, filled with old manuscripts and more of the eerie symbols. Among the manuscripts was a final entry from the mansion's last occupant, a man named Edgar Thorne, who had discovered the mansion's dark secret. His writings detailed how the Keeper had the power to manipulate time, trapping souls in a perpetual loop of fear and despair. The group's desperation reached a peak as they encountered the Keeper's manifestation, a shadowy figure with no discernible features, its presence exuding a chilling aura. It seemed to be feeding on their fear, growing more powerful with every moment they spent in its grasp. In a final desperate act, Lana and her friends used the clues from the manuscripts to perform a ritual intended to break the Keeper's hold. As they chanted the incantations, the mansion shook, and the shadows writhed in agony. The clock in the room ticked erratically, finally settling on the correct time. The oppressive atmosphere began to lift, and the mansion's walls seemed to revert to their original state. The group stumbled out of the mansion, gasping for air as they emerged into the dawn light. They were disoriented, their minds struggling to grasp the reality of their escape. The mansion stood behind them, silent and brooding as ever. As they left, Lana looked back at the mansion one last time. The fog seemed to lift slightly, revealing the grand yet menacing structure. She felt a sense of both relief and lingering dread. They had escaped, but the experience had changed them forever. The haunting echoes of Ashcroft Manor would remain with them, a chilling reminder of the malevolent force that had almost trapped them for eternity. Alex Sterling awoke with a jolt, his heart racing, and his mind clouded by a fog of confusion. The sunlight filtered through the high-rise windows of his penthouse, casting a warm glow on the sleek, modern furnishings. But something was off. He felt a disorienting void where the previous day should have been. He checked his watch. It was already afternoon, and he had no recollection of the day before. Reaching for his phone, Alex's hands trembled as he scrolled through his gallery. The photographs there were chilling. They showed him in increasingly disturbing situations, standing in a dark alleyway with an expression of fear, holding a strange cryptic symbol, and sitting in an unfamiliar room with a hooded figure looming over him. Each image was accompanied by a sense of dread that seemed to seep through the screen. "Where the hell was I yesterday?" Alex muttered, his voice trembling with anxiety. He needed answers. He began his investigation by contacting his close friends and colleagues, hoping someone would shed light on his missing day. Sarah, his personal assistant, was the first to respond. She sounded bewildered when he asked her about his whereabouts the previous day. "Alex, I'm sorry. I thought you knew," Sarah said, her voice strained. "You had an important meeting with that new tech group, the Phantom Enclave. You were supposed to discuss some cutting-edge project." The name Phantom Enclave rang a bell, but Alex couldn't place it. He decided to visit their office, a sleek, high-tech building that seemed more like a fortress than a business headquarters. The lobby was filled with high-end security measures and an unsettling, almost clinical atmosphere. A receptionist with a polite but blank expression directed him to the upper floors. When Alex arrived, he was greeted by Victor Rain, a tall, imposing man with a piercing gaze and a demeanor that exuded control. Victor's office was meticulously organized, reflecting his cold and calculating nature. "Mr. Sterling," Victor said with a practiced smile, "I was wondering when you'd show up. How can I assist you?" Alex wasted no time. "I need to know what happened yesterday. I have no memory of it, and the photos on my phone." Victor's smile faded slightly. "Photos? I'm afraid I don't have any information about that." Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. Victor's reaction was too smooth, too controlled. There was something unsettling about the way he spoke. "I need answers. I want to know why I was involved with your group." Victor's eyes narrowed. "You were part of an experiment, Mr. Sterling. A trial run for a new technology we're developing. It seems you've experienced an unexpected side effect." "Side effect?" Alex echoed, his mind racing. "What kind of experiment?" Victor's expression grew more enigmatic. "We deal with perception and reality, Mr. Sterling. Sometimes the line between the two becomes blurred. Your case is unique." The conversation left Alex more confused and uneasy. As he left the Phantom Enclave's office, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. The city outside seemed normal, but he felt like he was walking through a distorted version of reality. Determined to uncover the truth, Alex delved deeper into the Phantom Enclave's background. He discovered that they were known for their controversial experiments with memory manipulation and psychological conditioning. Their reputation was shrouded in secrecy, and few people knew the full extent of their activities. Late that night, Alex received a message on his phone, a video file labeled "For Your Eyes Only." With a sense of dread, he played the video. It showed him being led into a dark room by masked figures, and then the scene shifted to him sitting in a chair, seemingly in distress. The video ended with a cryptic message: "Reality is a fragile construct. Control is an illusion." Alex's fear turned to anger. He was being toyed with, manipulated, and he had to find out why. He returned to the Phantom Enclave's building, determined to confront Victor Rainey again. In the dead of night, the office building was eerily quiet. Alex managed to bypass the security measures and find his way to Victor's private lab. The room was filled with advanced technology and unsettling devices designed to alter perceptions and memories. A series of monitors displayed distorted images and cryptic symbols. Victor appeared suddenly, his expression colder than ever. "I see you found our research, Mr. Sterling." "What is this?" Alex demanded, his voice shaking. "What are you doing?" Victor's gaze was chillingly calm. "We manipulate reality to reveal its true nature. Your experience is part of a larger experiment to understand how perceptions can be controlled." Alex's heart pounded as he realized the extent of Victor's plans. The Phantom Enclave was not just manipulating memories. They were trying to reshape reality itself. Victor was a master of psychological torment, and Alex was caught in the middle of a nightmarish experiment. In a final confrontation, Alex and Victor engaged in a tense battle of wits. Victor tried to manipulate Alex's perception, using the technology to create nightmarish illusions. But Alex, driven by sheer will and desperation, fought back against the distortion of reality. As the battle reached its climax, Alex managed to disrupt the machines and dismantle the technology. The room plunged into darkness, and the unsettling atmosphere began to dissipate. Victor's control over reality faltered, and the Phantom Enclave's grip on Alex's mind weakened. In the aftermath, Alex emerged from the building, exhausted but victorious. The city's lights flickered as dawn approached, and he felt a sense of relief as the real world reasserted itself. He knew the experience had changed him forever, and the fragility of reality would always be a haunting reminder. Alex Sterling's life returned to some semblance of normalcy, but the memory of the Phantom Enclave's experiment lingered. He had faced the darkest aspects of human perception and emerged with a newfound understanding of the thin line between reality and illusion. Emily Turner had always been drawn to the past. Her apartment was filled with vintage trinkets and antique curiosities that told stories of bygone eras. So, when she stumbled upon an old pocket watch at a flea market one crisp autumn afternoon, she was immediately captivated. The watch, with its ornate design and intricate engravings, seemed to whisper secrets of another time. Without much thought, Emily bought the watch and brought it home. As she admired its craftsmanship, she felt a strange chill, but she brushed it off as a quirk of her imagination. That night, she set the watch on her bedside table, its ticking a soothing rhythm in the quiet of her apartment. The next morning, Emily awoke to a sense of disorientation. Her clock showed that several hours had passed, but she had no memory of the time between. She shook off the unsettling feeling, attributing it to a restless night. However, the bizarre experiences soon escalated. Over the following days, Emily began to lose time with alarming frequency. Hours vanished without explanation, and her surroundings seemed to shift in disconcerting ways. The first sign of something truly amiss was when she noticed her living room furniture rearranged. She had distinctly remembered leaving it in one arrangement, but now it was different. When she checked her phone for photos she had taken, she found strange, unsettling images of places she didn't recognize and people she'd never seen before. In addition to these eerie changes, Emily began receiving cryptic messages on her phone, each one more alarming than the last. "Time is slipping away," one message read. Another said, "You can't escape the Timekeeper." Determined to uncover the truth, Emily began researching the pocket watch. Her investigation led her to a local historian, Professor Harold Carter, who specialized in antique artifacts. As she described the watch, Professor Carter's face grew pale. "This is no ordinary timepiece," he said, his voice trembling. "It belonged to Jonathan Blackwood, a horologist who vanished mysteriously a century ago. It's rumored that he was obsessed with manipulating time, and some believe he succeeded in creating a curse that traps people in a distorted reality." Emily's heart raced. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, but she needed more information. Professor Carter provided her with a few old articles about Blackwood's experiments and his eventual disappearance. The articles hinted at a series of disappearances and strange phenomena surrounding the cursed watch. As Emily delved deeper, she found herself drawn into a labyrinth of dark history and supernatural occurrences. The blackouts became more frequent, and the changes in her environment grew increasingly disturbing. She discovered that the watch was not merely an artifact, but a conduit for the Timekeeper's curse, which manipulated the flow of time and reality. In her search for answers, Emily visited an old, abandoned mansion linked to Blackwood. The mansion was a decrepit shell of its former self, its once grand architecture now shrouded in darkness and decay. Inside, Emily found remnants of Blackwood's experiments, arcane symbols and strange devices designed to alter perceptions of time. As she explored the mansion, the Timekeeper made his presence known. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and whispers filled the air. Emily felt a cold, malevolent force closing in. Her phone rang, and the caller ID displayed an unknown number. When she answered, a chilling voice spoke. "Emily Turner, you've meddled with forces beyond your understanding. Time is my domain, and you are trapped within its folds." The voice belonged to Jonathan Blackwood, now a malevolent spirit bound to the cursed pocket watch. Emily's fear turned to determination as she faced the Timekeeper. She realized that to break the curse, she needed to confront Blackwood directly. In a final, harrowing confrontation, Emily used the knowledge she had gained to challenge the Timekeeper's control over time. She disrupted the watch's mechanisms and performed a ritual, described in the old articles, to sever the connection between the Timekeeper and the cursed timepiece. The mansion's atmosphere grew tumultuous as time itself seemed to warp and bend. Emily fought to maintain her grip on reality as the Timekeeper's manipulations intensified. With a burst of willpower, she managed to destroy the watch and confront the Timekeeper one last time. As the watch shattered, the curse was lifted. The mansion's shadows receded, and the eerie whispers faded away. Emily emerged from the mansion, exhausted but triumphant. The city's skyline was bathed in the soft glow of dawn, and she felt a profound sense of relief as time returned to its normal course. Emily Turner's life gradually returned to normal, but the experience had left an indelible mark on her. She had faced the darkest aspects of time and reality, and had emerged with a newfound appreciation for the fragility of existence.
Thank you for joining us on this harrowing journey through the darkest realms of time and terror. If these stories left you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling adventures. Share your thoughts below and tell us which tale haunted you the most. Until next time, remember, in the shadows of time, you never know what's lurking. Stay vigilant and keep the light close.